चल चल
चलो। हम्म
तो अब हम बात करने वाले
मैं स्टार्ट
मिशन
कर रहा हूँ।
इम्पॉसिबल। हाँ तू
मैं बात कर मैं करूँ स्टार्ट।
कर चल।
लेट्स
चलो।
गो।
सो तू स्टार्ट कर।
So now that we are out of the Nolan verse, if there's such a thing, let's dive into the
क्रूज।
Hunt verse, Tom Cruise verse, क्या Tom verse, Tom
नहीं नहीं, मिशन
stunt
इम्पॉसिबल।
verse, stunt verse.
नहीं नहीं, वो हर मूवी में वो करता है वो।
स्टंट तो
बीच में विगू उंगली करेगा सर। ठीक है, विगू ने सब देखी नहीं है।
ठीक है, let's dive into the Mission Impossible series.
क्या? बहुत खराब, बहुत खराब।
हाय विगू बैकग्राउंड म्यूजिक देते रहे। ठीक है। तो मिशन इम्पॉसिबल डेड रेकनिंग पार्ट 1 आ चुका है विच इज द
आ
सीक्वल
चुका
टू।
नहीं, चला गया थिएटर्स।
अरे यार सारा किल कर देता है पूरा वाइब। डेड
यही तो,
रेकनिंग
यही
पार्ट
तो
1
बोलने
आ
लगा।
चुका है विच इज अ सीक्वल टू द आई probably the top one of the top 3 best action films
इतना
of this
बिल्डअप मत
decade.
दे।
मिशन
इतना
इम्पॉसिबल फॉल आउट। मैं डेकेड दे रहा हूँ क्योंकि मुझे अपना डिसअपॉइंटमेंट भी बताना है बाद में, इसलिए।
रियली तू उसको फॉल आउट भी इतना ऊपर ले रहा है?
यार टॉप टॉप 5 में तो आता है यार।
टॉप 5 क्या है फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ये बता।
फर्स्ट तो जॉन विक 4
क्या?
नहीं है, मैड मैक्स
क्या?
फ्यूरी रोड है।
ओके ने
एंड
डेकेड बोल रहा है ना?
हाँ डेकेड।
हाँ।
उसके बाद इतना सोचा नहीं है बट हाँ मतलब मैड मैक्स फ्यूरी रोड और देख मैड मैक्स फ्यूरी रोड, मिशन इम्पॉसिबल 6
फॉल आउट इज
और
गुड।
बाकी यार मार्वल के ही सिविल वॉर एंड गेम है। चल ना वो तो होते रहेगा। अब तू बता पहले कि मिशन इम्पॉसिबल डेड रेकनिंग पार्ट 1 कैसा लगा।
I तो had a huge grin on my face
एक मिनट
throughout
तूने
the film.
4DX में देखा था?
Yes, मैं लोगों को सजेस्ट करूंगा कि अगर आपको थोड़ा भी ट्रेलर में दिख जाता है कि there is gonna be action, actual action in a film, 4DX में देखो। IMAX भी नहीं, IMAX के भी पहले 4DX में देखो। To be very honest, this has happened to me twice or thrice now, 4DX में ही। I actually feel like I'm on a roller coaster. मैं इसको इतना emphasize करके बोल ही नहीं सकता without sounding very cliched, but it is true. Throughout the film, I was just enjoying the. See, I have a few. क्या कहता हूँ? I have a few nitpicks, but in general, I had a very good time, which I expect from any Mission Impossible film. And टू कीप इट ब्रीफ, अभी मैं और ज्यादा डिस्कस नहीं कर रहा। आमिर के थॉट्स एक बार आ जाए फिर लेट्स गो डीपर।
क्या ही डिस्कस करेगा। हाँ ठीक
आमिर
है।
डिड नॉट लव इट, व्हिच इज व्हाई आई एम एक्साइटेड टू डिस्कस इट। अच्छे कि हाँ, चल आमिर स्टार्ट
यार
अपने
देख
thoughts।
आई हैव बीन अ मिशन इम्पॉसिबल फैन बॉय ऑल माय लाइफ, मतलब जितना भी लाइफ अब तक जिया है वहां पे। बट यार मतलब आई एम दैट काइंड ऑफ अ पर्सन हु वुड से कि इट इज बेटर देन द जेम्स बॉन्ड सीरीज टू सम एक्सटेंट, बिकॉज जेम्स बॉन्ड ना एक टाइम के बाद वो स्काईफॉल वाज द लास्ट गुड बॉन्ड फिल्म। उसके बाद वो स्पेक्टर एंड नो टाइम टू डाई रियली डिसअपॉइंटेड मी। तो वो एक वो वो चला गया था, ध्यान हट गया था। एंड वी हैव दिस टॉम क्रूज हियर जो यार ऐसा स्टंट्स को स्टंट्स ही इज यूजिंग द स्टंट्स एज अ गिमिक बट एक अच्छा स्टोरी बोल रहा है। ही इज कंटिन्यूइंग दिस कैरेक्टर ऑफ ईथन हंट, वी आर इन्वेस्टेड इन हिज स्टोरी, वी आर इन्वेस्टेड इन हिज पर्सनल लाइफ। एंड आई रिवॉच्ड ऑल द फिल्म। हमेशा मिशन इम्पॉसिबल जो भी नया मूवी आ रहा होता है फॉल आउट के टाइम पे भी आई रिवॉच ऑल द फिल्म एंड आई मेरे को मजा आता है। सेकंड पार्ट भी मुझे बहुत मजा आता है एंड इट्स अ गुड फिल्म। थर्ड पार्ट स्पेशली मेरा ये टाइम थर्ड पार्ट बहुत ही फेवरेट फिल्म हो चुका था। बट यार डेड रेकनिंग पार्ट 1 में इतना एक्सपेक्टेशंस लेके गया था। इट वाज सेट टू बी दिस जैसे टॉप गन मैवरिक के साथ लास्ट ईयर हुआ था वैसे इट वाज सेट टू बी दिस पॉपकॉर्न एंटरटेनर, ये बड़ा स्टंट होने वाला है मूवी में ये वो। एंड आई वेंट इन विद हाँ मैंने आईमैक्स में देखा बट आई डिडंट नो कि उन्होंने शूट किया है कि नहीं आईमैक्स में। आई हैड हर्ड कि किया था क्योंकि फॉल आउट वाज शॉट इन आईमैक्स। तो आई जस्ट मैंने बस सोचा था कि हाँ ये भी हुआ ही होगा एंड आई वेंट इन एंड आई वाज रियली डिसअपॉइंटेड। पहली बात तो यार मूवी शुरू होता है विद द बैंग जस्ट लाइक एवरी अदर मिशन इम्पॉसिबल मूवी। द क्रेडिट्स टाइटल क्रेडिट्स तक I was having a good time, but there was a hint ki they were trying too much to create a plot that was new, that was contrived, and that was complicated. हर movie का complicated plot होता है, but it ends in that movie itself. But यहाँ पे they wanted to continue it into the next part, so they had too much on their plate to handle. And उसके बाद ना film for me didn't have any stakes at all. वो airport sequence हुआ उसके बाद it didn't have any stakes at all, and I wasn't into the film. And the biggest gripe I have with this movie was कि the movie was shot in close-ups and mids. तो वाइड शॉट्स इतना रखा ही नहीं मूवी में, तो IMAX में तो कुछ मजा आया नहीं. प्लस I read a lot after the movie कि क्रिस्टोफर मक्वारी wanted to shoot it like ब्रायन डे पाल्मा. तो फर्स्ट पार्ट जैसा शूट किया था ना, वैसे ही यूज्ड ऑल दोज ट्रेडिशनल फिल्म मेकिंग टेक्निक्स, एंड डच एंगल्स बहुत यूज किया है, क्लोजअप्स में बहुत उड़ा दिया. या वो भी हो सकता है कि कोविड-19 में बना था मूवी, सो दे ओनली वांटेड टू इन्वेस्ट इन द बिग स्टंट्स, तो वाइड शॉट सिर्फ वो सब चीज़ों के लिए रखा था. बट यार बहुत ही क्लॉस्ट्रोफोबिक लगने लगा मूवी एक टाइम के बाद. तो यार मतलब बहुत डिसअपॉइंटिंग था मेरे लिए. मे बी आई वेंट इन विद टू मच एक्सपेक्टेशंस, बट यार यू आर एक्सपेक्टिंग अ गुड टाइम एंड आई डिडंट रियली गेट अ गुड टाइम. तो हाँ.
I have again respect your opinion, etc., etc. but the thing is, see, first of all, coming to the too many close-up wala cheese, huh? Actually, quite the contrary. Christopher McCurry से पूछा गया कि the same point कि was it your tribute to Brian Palmer, and he was no. He was like no. What he thought that the best shot that could be for this particular scene, they've used that instead, which was his statement. But at the same time, whatever the case may be, yes, I agree with you. Too many close-ups, too many Dutch angles, and yes, directly or indirectly, it was a tribute, or it took a page from Mission Impossible 1, the first one. But having said that, see, मुझे as a narrative में see what I expect from a Mission Impossible movie, it gave me that. I didn't see, maybe it could be a lot of expectations, but on your end. But honestly बताऊं तो again I was having good time throughout. I have nitpicks, तो मैं उसके बारे में बोलता हूँ. तो maybe we could analyze it better. तो मेरे को ऐसा लगा first of all कि two things. एक, the final act of the film was too stretched in a way कि I was like खत्म करो यार. हो समझ गया ये होने वाला, मुझे पता है, खत्म करो, पता तो बाथरूम जाना है. मेरे माइंड में सच्ची में चल रहा था. ठीक है. Second thing is the big fall, the big stunt, him falling off the cliff. I have shown the trailer to everyone that I know. ये सब ये सीन देखो, ये रियल में कूदा है. I mean, that was a huge thing. But in the film, although narratively it makes sense, it made sense, and at the same time, it was जो चाहिए था वो था, but it wasn't edited well, I'd say. Because once he falls off the cliff, there are too many close-ups उसके बाद. Too many close-ups and his reactions, and he's mumbling dialogues and stuff. I would have again, it's a creative choice. Again, the Dutch angles, the close-ups. मैं इसलिए क्या कहते हैं, मैं उसको क्या कहते criticize नहीं कर रहा, because it's a creative choice. A filmmaker, मैं maybe अलग shots use करता, wide shots use करता, someone else would have done something completely different. So maybe it wasn't for us, but I get कि what the guy was thinking, what they were trying to do. And point being, third act बहुत stretch था. Second, the वो big stunt है ना, it was nowhere close to the Ghost Protocol वाला Burj Khalifa का scene. It was nowhere close to even the Mission Impossible 3 का jump, Fallout में भी it wasn't that memorable in the film, but just if you take it out of the film and watch it, it's breathtaking. मतलब मैं वो मना नहीं कर रहा. And to be honest, as you also mentioned कि है ना, एक चीज मुझे बहुत बड़ा criticism है I know कि Tom Cruise is a fan of practical effects. Even Christopher McQuarrie is. And the film is अच्छे से practical effects use हुए, but still it looks very CG. It
Hmm.
looked very CG throughout the film. कि मुझे पता है कि रियल में शूट हुआ होगा, but ये fake क्यों लग रहा है? I was like, there were a lot of moments in the film. Then when I thought more of it, it was because कि pandemic में shoot हुआ है. It has the production stopped for 3 to 4 times. 3 से 4 बार production रुका है. Budget 100 million ज़्यादा गया. So I give that to the creators.
Hmm.
Even maybe I could be a huge reason कि ज़्यादा close-ups use किए.
हाँ हाँ हाँ.
Because of the fact they couldn't film in maybe real locations or जल्दी पता हो खत्म. White shirts का time नहीं. Again, this is a very amateurish observation, but
But it could be. हाँ.
could be. But even याद है एक टॉम क्रूज का ऑडियो लीक हुआ था
हाँ हाँ हाँ.
भाई. तो विगू को देखो पता वो गालियां दे रहा है, वो किसी को मर्डर कर देगा, वो ऐसे फॉर्म में चला गया वो. एंड इट वाज समवन गॉट कोविड एंड समवन ब्रोक द उस टाइम पे जो बबल बना था,
Bombs थे ना. हाँ.
समवन ब्रोक द बबल एंड ही लॉस्ट इट एंड समवन रिकॉर्डेड लॉस्ट इट. मतलब you can't even imagine Tom Cruise being का ये side है, मतलब तो imagine ही नहीं कर सकता. But his point was valid. He culminated the rant with, do you know how lucky we are कि हमारा पूरा Hollywood बंद है, still we are shooting a film and we should just feel proud and lucky. And 1000 लोगों का घर पे बैठे 1000 लोग, उनको वो jobless है. You are getting paid, you are getting to do what you love. Don't मतलब उसमें तुम लोग compromises मत करो. He ended with that, and which is very mature of him. And अभी भी again I'm straying away from Mission Impossible. अभी भी जब actor strike वापस चालू हुआ, writer strike चली रहा था, actor strike, the first person and the only person who started negotiating with the studios is Tom Cruise. कि because of the fact that he has that power as well as he has that voice, he started negotiating with the क्या कहते हैं studios on behalf of the of SAG-AFTRA. But again, Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise, अकेला हॉलीवुड बचा रहा. But point being, there are a few problems with the film, but in general, yeah, I think I could see a clear case of having a bit too many expectations. For me, it was good characters, good stakes even. You spoilers दे सकते हैं, but नहीं देता. A big character dies, whereas हर मूवी में नहीं मरते. Mission Impossible. But I wished a lot more people died as well. But हाँ, and Haley Atwell का character, we should discuss those things. मतलब again, the chase sequence, it's actually funny. मतलब the chase sequence, him with Haley Atwell वाला जो रोम में ना,
हाँ रोम में
they are having the chase. At the same time, Haley Atwell का character is so charismatic. Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise, Simon Pegg,
अगेन वो वाले सीन में कुछ stakes ही नहीं feel हुआ ना यार. मतलब
stakes, but again for me the stakes वो starting में आते हैं, even from first half of the film.
हाँ समझा मैं, but यार मतलब I'll compare it to Fallout. मतलब हाँ ये मूवी के बाद ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि was there any memorable action scene that I remember.
But if you are counting on that ना, the narrative falls apart. Even मतलब Fallout में भी पता है, for me it worked because from the beginning to the end the film drove on Ethan Hunt's vulnerability.
Yeah, but
he was the wife
sequences push the story
forward. No, and the tension. और मैं ये बात मानता हूँ कि the narratives have been great. Right since Ghost Protocol, जो stakes है, 4 सीन साथ में इंटरकट करो, तू दो टाइम के कॉन्फ्लिक्ट डाल के ये टाइम पे बॉम्ब फटेगा कि नहीं. अगेन क्लीशे ट्रोप्स बट वर्क वेरी वेल. एयरपोर्ट पे भी यही हो रहा है ना, 4 सीन साथ में इंटरकट हो रहे हैं, 2 अलग प्लॉट लाइंस चल रहे हैं. देयर इज अ टाइम का वो विदाउट स्पॉइलिंग, तो टाइम का देयर इज अ ह्यूज कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. I feel throughout the film there was there, but after the character that I said dies, film takes a pause. film takes an unnecessary pause.
हम्म,
It take, and it never ends. मेरे को ऐसा लगता
हाँ हाँ
है film. That is my nitpick. But see, maybe maybe you can pinpoint to the editing,
हाँ हाँ
or or else the director or the creators wanted to मतलब वो breathe कराना था because a character has died. They wanted the other characters to mourn, although वो इतना था नहीं. But maybe again, I get what they tried to do. I did not love it, but that did not spoil the movie for me. Again, मेरे लिए जो pros थे, those pros far outweigh the cons. That is why I really not just enjoyed the film. मेरे लिए it's Ghost Protocol, Fallout, and Third पे ये है for me अभी.
okay
Mission Impossible 3, again, yeah, different video, different talking about. Again, we should do it. ये
हाँ
कौन
हाँ
सी if you drank all the films, तो वो करता है. But having said that, good film. And one thing we are forgetting, कि it's a part one. It's a part
हाँ
one.
हाँ हाँ
Even it
exactly
happened with Across the Spider-Verse.
हम्म
कि uh, sometimes we felt कि it could have gone faster. It could have it could have मतलब point A से point B क्यों इतना drag हो रहा है? That is maybe building up towards part two.
right हाँ हाँ हाँ
Juxtaposing both the films, but um, although emotional stakes है पहले से, to be honest है. अगर साइमन पेक का कैरेक्टर
हाँ
विंस
Ving
विंस
Rhames
हाँ उसका कैरेक्टर, there are stakes, and even in the film, those are the vulnerable people around Ethan Hunt. And that is something. Even एक चीज, sorry, एक और चीज बोलो. The one thing जिसकी वजह से मे बी तेरे को स्टेक्स नहीं लगे, not a great antagonist, I feel.
हाँ हाँ
Although AI वाला point I loved. AI जो AI is the bigger antagonist, but the character representing the AI,
हाँ
it started off great. Airport sequence में when it लगता है कि ओह कुछ हुआ है, हाँ, but
उसके
as
बाद
it built,
हाँ
yeah, as it built throughout the movie, वो stakes कम होते गए, which I agree. And to be honest, एक और चीज, we did not get exposition, visual exposition कि वो कौन the antagonist, कि सिर्फ बताया through a video,
हाँ
through a flashback.
flashback
बट ऑल्दो पता है वो 15 मिनट्स का सीन शूट हुआ है, वो शूट हुआ है. ईथन हंट इज de-aged, बट वो डीएच अच्छा नहीं लग रहा था. डिड नॉट फील
वो उन्होंने ऐसा कर
did not feel justified. I heard that in a podcast. वो लोग इंडियाना जोन्स को भी के बारे में बात करते हैं. हैरिसन फोर्ड इज de-aged in इंडियाना जोन्स. तो देखिए इंडियाना जोन्स, तो उसमें it became distracting for a lot of people. So point being, they took it out of the film, which could be a way, which could be the reason antagonist के साथ feel नहीं
हाँ
होता.
हाँ हाँ
Stakes भी नहीं लगे. I starting में I thought कि he is actually dangerous, and the bigger AI जो है, it is at such a level it could be very, but we all know कि Ethan Hunt will prevail, which is sad. Which is sad in the terms of कुछ और vulnerable उसको और बना सकते थे.
हम्म
Again, एक और चीज, sorry, once we start talking ifs and buts ना, I think वो नहीं करते
हाँ
because of the fact कि अपने बिल हेडर का तूने सुना राइटिंग में, if someone tells you कि there's a problem in this, you know there is a problem, but when someone proposes a solution to that problem, तब समझ आने का नहीं problem. तो मतलब because the other person has a subjective take on it.
हम्म
तो दैट इज व्हाई मैं ये होता वो होता नहीं कर रहा. आई नो कि फ्लॉज है, तेरे को भी पता है, मेरे को भी पता, बट ऑल इन ऑल आई एंजॉयड द फिल्म, एंड आई गेट व्हाई यू डिड नॉट. देयर
हाँ
वर इनफ. गो ऑन.
कुछ नहीं यार बाकी तो मतलब हाँ I felt very very cheated and I didn't feel very good after the film. मतलब it was unlike any other Mission Impossible film. Maybe वो भी हो सकता है कि I went in IMAX तो IMAX का ऊपर से मुझे सेंटर का नहीं मिला था, तो थोड़ा साइड का मिला था, तो उससे भी आई गेस एक्सपीरियंस बहुत ये हो गया होगा। एंड हाँ, मतलब आई डिडंट फील वेरी मिशन इम्पॉसिबल लाइक आफ्टर वॉचिंग द फिल्म। नहीं तो आई हैव दिस एक्साइटमेंट, आई हैव दिस ब्लड रशिंग थ्रू माय वेन्स एवरी टाइम।
Average Marvel fan in 2023.
हाँ,
हाँ
I maybe we both need to give it a rewatch maybe because as Oppenheimer के साथ भी हुआ
हाँ
तेरा
हाँ
कि
हाँ हाँ।
second viewing was much better and it happens मेरे साथ बहुत movies में
मेरे साथ
कि
भी होता है।
तो in general I really like the film. I had a great time. मैं great time expect करके गया था, वो मिला. Although I wasn't expecting the film to be great.
हाँ
मैं मेरा experience
हाँ
so there might be there might be a line which अलग पॉडकास्ट इसका कि फिल्म का. हाँ, देखो कुछ बोल रहा
I had a question listening to this entire conversation. Again,
था.
I might thoda sa drifting away from the movie itself,
हम्म
drifting away from the topic itself, but a question when it comes to like filmmaking students like us, because like we haven't worked with studios yet, we haven't delved into the whole structure of distribution and yevo. How many people will watch it, how many people will show up to the movies is the last of our concern at the age and place where we are as creatives. That is something that will eventually happen, and it is going to happen in the next 5-8 years, but for now apna concern nahi hai. But talking about these action blockbusters, we are purely speaking from the perspective of the audience for now, right? If hypothetically we were to switch the tables, I have a very specific question that comes to my mind is कि if you were hired by a studio to make one of these action blockbuster films, but they have a star cast which is going to be there, they have an action sequence which is going to happen, where do you stand on there? Like, where do you stand? Because again, the movie is creatively going to be yours, but they have an action sequence that will be the climax of it. They have a guy who is going to star in it, and you have no options in both. You have to be creative around it. Where do you stand when it comes to this?
But to be very honest, आमिर तेरे को बोलना पहले.
नहीं, तू बोल।
To be honest, I don't see a problem in that. Studio interference is a different problem in itself. जो तुझे दो mandatory points दिए, तूने मुझे जो दिया है as a तू
Yeah.
अगर studio तू मुझे ये 2 points दे रहा है. For me, the core of the film is entirely different. The core of the film is the emotional core of firstly. With Mission Impossible, there is beyond the emotional core as well. But emotional core, see, मेरे लिए again, whenever you make any film, you ask yourself, why am I making a film? And उसके जो 2-3 answers है कि I'm going to convey this thing. I'm thematically ये कह रहा है. और वो तेरा core तू sorted है ना, that is when स्टूडियो इंटरफेरेंस उस कोर को अगर टैप कर रहा है, देन यू बी रिलक्टेंट. बट अदर देन दैट, एवरीथिंग इज अ डिटेल. अगर तू बुर्ज खलीफा पे नहीं कर रहा, सेम चीज तू कोई बिल्डिंग में कर सकता है. एग्जांपल दे रहा हूं, नॉर्मल बिल्डिंग में you could use the same techniques. कि साउंड डिजाइन, even Oppenheimer में honestly बताऊं, atom bomb wasn't the big Trinity test was visual spectacle से ज्यादा और हम साउंड में खो गए. हाँ, my point being, everything else is a detail.
Yeah.
If a director has a core intact now, everything is a detail. But having said that, आज के टाइम में मैं तुम लोगों के साथ ही रैंट करता हूँ कि कोई मूवी नहीं पसंद आई, आई गिव स्टूडियो फिल्म है, बिकॉज there is a lot of interference, because it's not your you are not an author of the film. मतलब 10 राइटर्स है, 10 नियम है, राइटर्स अलग है, उनको स्पेस है. यू आर जस्ट डूइंग अ जॉब which is a sad space. There are only few people who get the luxury. Studios उनको luxury देते हैं, बजट दे देती है, and तुम जो करना है करो, which happened to Oppenheimer and Barbie. Other than that,
Barbie में there was studio interference to a
but
good
still,
level.
Noah Baumbach wrote it with Greta Gerwig. Greta Gerwig directed it and produced it with Margot Robbie. There is a core team जो veto करके studio को बोल सकते हैं bye. मतलब example दे रहा हूँ. At the same time, even Mission Impossible में Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie are the two people. उनका फाइनल से हो मतलब एंड दे टुक द बजट टू x 100 million एक्स्ट्रा बिकॉज दे नो कि दे ऑल्दो टॉप गन इतना कमाई थी तो मतलब मिलने ही वाला है बट पॉइंट बीइंग see there is studio interference it's just as a filmmaker know कि ये जगह मैं कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं करूंगा एंड उसके अलावा हर चीज डिटेल उसमें कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो भी रहा है डोंट गेट सैड अबाउट एंड आई
Fair
फील
enough.
दैट्स द की
Fair
अगेन
enough.
हमने किया नहीं है
हाँ
Exactly.
देख स्टूडियो
although
से इंटरफेरेंस नहीं था जो विगू ने बोला दोज वर जस्ट कंडीशंस दैट maybe every other director gets who wants to work with a studio.
Yeah, and that is why I specifically mentioned ना कि we are not exactly in place of talking about this because हमने वैसा कुछ किया नहीं अब तक. But at the same time, it's just a question that popped in
हमने
my
ऐसा
head.
कुछ किया नहीं है
नहीं नहीं पर वी आर नॉट आंसरेबल टू
Have you
एनीवन
worked with a big budget studio?
नहीं नहीं आमिर
हाँ
एक सेकंड विगू ये बोलना चाह रहा है वी आर नॉट आंसरेबल टू एनी बिगर अथॉरिटी
हाँ हाँ हाँ
वैसा.
अपने मूवीज के तो
आर्मी
although
नहीं आमिर आमिर and I know we have worked on one project where we were
I know मैं भी वो प्रोजेक्ट का नाम नहीं लेते
one very bad authority.
ये भाई
let's not editor cut this out. Anyways, continue.
हाँ
आमिर
तो हाँ it's the similar answer कि मतलब and when you were giving me this question I'm always sorry but I'm always of the opinion कि you should always take the opinion of the authority in मतलब with your own perspective because it's really important कि जो पैसा डाल रहा है उसका भी उसका पैसा भी important है and उसका say भी बहुत important है in what you are doing so you can't just go out there and make whatever you want to make on at the expense of his money but his or her money but अगेन यार वही है कि अगेन मितुल ने बहुत अच्छे से बताया ये चीज कि वो इमोशनल कोर एंड इट इज व्हाट यू ब्रिंग टू द टेबल लाइक व्हाट ब्रैड बर्ड डिड आई एम प्रीटी श्योर कि वो बुर्ज खलीफा वाला सीक्वेंस रहेगा पहले से स्टूडियो के दिमाग में या कुछ एक कोई तो एक सीक्वेंस तो रहेगा ही उनके दिमाग में बट द डायरेक्शन दैट ब्रैड बर्ड ब्रॉट टू द टेबल वो सब दैट्स व्हाट वी लिव फॉर राइट मतलब बाकी ये सब तो होते ही रहेगा तोड़ फोड़ तो होते ही रहेगा बट वो
एक
सब
सॉरी
जो
इंटरजेक्ट करना है तूने एक अभी जो बोला ना कि क्या कहते हैं तूने लास्ट क्या बोला
ब्रैड वर्ड
उसके पहले
कि ये एक एक्शन सीक्वेंस तो रहेगा ही
आई फॉरगॉट नाम बोल रुक जा हाँ तो द थिंग यू सेड अबाउट
अथॉरिटी को भी
हाँ सी इफ यू आर बाईपासिंग द अथॉरिटी हाँ तुम अपना डिसीजन ले रहे हो that also gives you the responsibility and you are liable कि अगर if things go wrong you are the person to blame but if the person is responsible ना that applies to any team corporate में भी अगर तू अपने decisions ले रहा है you should be answerable at the end and that's the point कि अभी उतना responsibility और authority किसी को मिलता ही नहीं in general in normal studio films except 3 एग्जांपल्स हम जो आज 3 मूवीज के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं उनके अलावा बार्बी ओपनहाइमर एंड उसमें भी एक पर्सन के पास नहीं है एक्सेप्ट नोलन हाँ बार्बी में देयर इज अ टीम ऑफ 3 or 4 पीपल उसके अलावा मिशन इम्पॉसिबल हैज अ टीम ऑफ 2 पीपल पॉइंट बीइंग दे अगर इवन बॉलीवुड में होता है कि सलमान खान इफ ही इज ब्रिंगिंग अ मूवी इफ इट बॉम्ब्स ही वोंट गेट एनीथिंग आमिर खान दे गेट बैक एंड डील्स ना तो मॉनिटरीली भी डायरेक्टली अफेक्ट हो रहा है पॉइंट बिंग मेरा कि इट्स नॉट कि आप आंसर मत करो अथॉरिटी को करो बट हैव योर वे बिकॉज एंड में जब इफ थिंग्स फेल ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि आई लिसन टू दैट पर्सन एंड डू विथ मतलब सी टेक प्राइड इन योर डिसीजन मेकिंग and if you are confused take someone's opinion if you are sure about something don't I feel that way until and unless you have a strong foundation you know कि देखो अपने पे भरोसा है तो although this conversation turned out to be very different लगी जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ but इनसे related नहीं था but in general
it wasn't it just like came to my head because तुम लोग ये action इसका बात कर रहे थे ना one thing that specifically came to my mind was Shang-Chi
Go on. In a good way, bad way.
I don't have an
Yeah.
opinion on it. The ending of the film, man, the whole
हाँ.
fight with the dragon, it was
अच्छा
off-putting
हाँ,
for me. It was off-putting
that
for
could
me.
be a studio thing. Yeah.
Exactly, which is why that question came to my mind, and I'm like, let me just ask.
नहीं पर देर आर वेज टू टैकल इट अगर वो एंड में आई फील कि देर आर नो स्टेक्स बिकॉज वो शेंची को लेता शेंची का लास्ट फाइट इज बिकॉज देर आर नो स्टेक्स ड्रैगन है ड्रैगन से बचना है उसमें तू कुछ और 10 कॉन्फ्लिक्ट डालना अगर सेम चीज वो मिशन इम्पॉसिबल में एयरपोर्ट सीक्वेंस था उसने टाइम वाला डाला ना मतलब उसके बिना भी वो सीन सेम ही होने वाला
हाँ.
हाँ पॉइंट एट द सेम टाइम ओपनहाइमर में भी दिस इज अ ओपनहाइमर इज द मोस्ट स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड स्टोरी पर ऐसे इंटरकट करके एडिट किया है पॉइंट बीइंग यू कैन टेक एनी सीन एंड ऐड स्टेक्स टू इट आई फील एंड शैंची की तो बात कर रहा है maybe I'm not blaming or putting a finger on people, but I feel कि अगर तुम स्टूडियो तुमको कुछ बोल रहा है कि ये करो, you could find creative ways to do.
True.
हाँ.
I am pretty sure usually this is more complicated and complicated than
Of
how
course
people
it
are saying it. But yeah, this sums it up.
is. One more thing, Infinity War, Endgame, मेरे को उनका पता है most Marvel movie एक एक चीज प्रीवियस हो चुका है
हाँ.
शूट पे जाने के पहले प्रीवियस मतलब एक एक चीज मतलब ऑन पॉइंट अब थोड़ा इम्प्रोवाइजेशन का रूम रहता है बट आई एम नॉट अ ह्यूज फैन ऑफ इट बट सी प्रेप इज इम्पोर्टेंट प्रीवियस इज वेरी हेल्पफुल बट सेट पे भी जाओ तो एकदम डोंट स्टिक टू इट हैव सम रूम टू इम्प्रोवाइज दैट्स माय पॉइंट बीइंग स्टूडियो इंटरफेयर करेगा बट एंड ऑफ द डे बीइंग अ डायरेक्टर इट्स ऑकवर्ड and you get the authority as well hopefully although we haven't been in that situation हमको नहीं
Exactly, we haven't been in that situation. So yeah, fair.
पता। also sorry people have जहाँ पे उनको नहीं मिलता स्कॉट डायरेक्शन हो गया या who left another mark एडगर राइट हो गया या
हाँ
आमिर
हाँ
का
हाँ. I was coming to that. Edgar Wright को
right
Edgar Wright just
स्कॉट
backed off because
उनको लगा कि उनकी नहीं सुनी जा रही या विजन से लाइन नहीं करे दे बैक्ड ऑफ which is fair enough no and this
The healthy
happened
thing to do.
हाँ but at the same time there are people like Taika Waititi who brought themselves into the film मतलब वो अपना लाए हैं मतलब दूर से दिख रहा है कि मार्वल नहीं सोच सकता इतना जो टाइका वाइटिटी सोच सकता है एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ इवन द राइटर्स Taika Waititi he hasn't written Ragnarok although how he made it only Taika Waititi could do that and very few directors have done it in the MCU MCU अच्छा स्टूडियो सिस्टम का एग्जांपल है whereas अपने पास इतना सैंपल है नहीं Warner Brothers have fucked a lot of shit मतलब इसलिए वो अलग कन्वर्सेशन
Nobody says DC.
Warner Brothers के अंदर DC
I said nobody says DC.
मतलब
कोई बोलो मत, तूने बोल दिया. Never mind.
हाँ बट पॉइंट बीइंग या स्टूडियो इंटरफेरेंस होता है सी अगेन कॉन्फ्लिक्टिंग ओपिनियंस मतलब मुझे नहीं पता ऑनेस्टली जितना मैं न्यूज़ सुना है उसको ही लेके मैं बोल रहा हूँ आई डोंट नो व्हाट गोस बिहाइंड दिस बट ऑनेस्टली ऑन अ वेरी स्मॉल स्केल वी ऑल हैव आल्सो फेस्ड all three of us I feel we are answerable to people we have our instinct but उसको लोग क्वेश्चन करेंगे तो वो there's I guess we need to preserve our voice at the same time negotiate करना आना चाहिए
Fair.
different conversation मतलब
और कुछ मिशन इम्पॉसिबल में तो और कुछ मेरे हिसाब से तो बचा नहीं कुछ लास्ट कुछ बोलना है मुझे
any चल रैंक कर पहले तू कर
रैंक तो देख नंबर 1 पे मिशन इम्पॉसिबल 3 आएगा
3
मुझे बहुत ज्यादा पसंद है वो फिर 2 पे
recently या
नहीं रिसेंटली मतलब मैं उस सिमिलर जोन में कुछ लिखने की भी कोशिश कर रहा था बहुत टाइम से तो वो उसने बहुत बहुत हेल्प किया मिशन इम्पॉसिबल 3 एंड इट इज द मेजर रीजन इज इट इज नॉट जस्ट अ मिशन इम्पॉसिबल मूवी इट इज मोर देन अ मिशन इम्पॉसिबल मूवी मतलब वो जे एब्राम्स मूवी लगता है क्योंकि जे एब्राम्स ने बहुत ही फ्रेश टेक लाया और वो चीज के बारे में भी बात करना चाहिए था कि एवरी डायरेक्टर न्यू डायरेक्टर took it into a different direction and J.J. Abrams refused to direct the fourth one because he wanted it to be taken into a different direction until obviously 5 6 7 मकवारी ने किया बट सेकंड नंबर पे फॉल आउट ही आएगा एंड थर्ड पे घोस्ट प्रोटोकॉल रोग
अरे नहीं
नेशन
वैसा
आते ही नहीं।
क्या
रोग नेशन कहीं आते ही नहीं।
रोग नेशन है ना इट मैंने रिवॉच किया था इट इज अ वेरी गुड मूवी बट इट्स फॉरगेटेबल इट्स अ फॉरगेटेबल मूवी आई डोंट नो it's a very good movie when you watch it na it hooks you and keeps you hooked throughout मतलब till the end उसका मैं बता रहा हूँ उसका end is one of the most stakes in animation याद है देखो
नहीं यार
लंदन
नहीं है।
ये टावर ब्रिज या लंदन ब्रिज के सामने दे आर सिटिंग इन एट अ कैफे एंड साइमन के
एंडिंग ना, हाँ
बॉम्ब
हाँ 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 हाँ।
दैट वाज जीनियस एक्चुअल में you
अरे
thought कि he
हाँ,
weird
उसका एंडिंग में एक्शन सीक्वेंस है ही नहीं ना कुछ, पूरा
but
ऐसा।
still one of the best
हाँ
takes
हाँ।
ever in a mission was तो हाँ टॉप 3 कर रहा है
तेरा तेरा हाँ तेरा बता।
Ghost Protocol number by far. All out second and third. Yeah, I'm very conflicted. Third, this could be see recency bias की वजह से this is the third Dead Reckoning Part 1. Although I am also of the opinion कि Part 1 को इतना मत देखो except Infinity War. वो अलग ही था but take Deadly Hallows Part 1 take uh, Across the Spider-Verse is a great movie, but I have higher hopes from the next one. So again, untested, but I'm hoping कि जो Dead Reckoning Part 2 number 1. And he has two जैसे इसमें he falls off the cliff ना, he has 2 to 3 stunts for the last one.
वो
ऐसे
लास्ट मूवी रहेगा, बोल दिया ऐसे।
नहीं तो पहले बोल दिया था
हाँ वो
हाँ
मैं
5 और अभी
विन डीजल फ्यूरियस 7 से बोल ही रहा है कि लास्ट बनाना।
नहीं नहीं अभी हैरिसन फोर्ड ने जब बोला ना कि मैं 80 इयर्स पे भी मैं हैप्पी हूँ तो टॉम क्रूज सेड कि मुझे भी करना है मिशन इम्पॉसिबिलिटी तो आई लाइक थिंग्स एंडिंग टू बी ऑनेस्ट एंडिंग ऑन अ गुड नोट हैप्पी नोट
I
डोंट
mean,
ओवरस्टे योर वेलकम
when things end, it sort of adds meaning to it. So
या दैट इज व्हाई आई हेट द एमसीयू इन मतलब नॉट हेट द एमसीयू बट एंड गेम के बाद छोड़ा है but I'm not someone के
different
ending में
podcast.
खराब हो गया there are layers to it we'll have a separate one
Different podcast.
So now that we are done with Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, let's ये Vighu ऐसे क्यों किया?
Dead Reckoning.
हाँ. Now we are going to the second movie of the Clash this weekend, Barbie. हाँ, कौन पहले जा रहा है Barbie के बारे में?
Aamir.
Smoothly जा you love the movie
क्यों
more than
एक मिनट। हाँ तो देख, I haven't seen Barbie the second time, तो I couldn't form a really
भाई बहुत बहुत प्रिविलेज जगह बैठा है 2-3 दिन में थिएटर जा रहा है लोग एक ही बार देखते हैं थिएटर
मैंने भी एक ही बार देखी है मतलब।
मैंने भी एक ही बार देखी है पर मैं वापस देखने का सोचूंगा गुड मूवी वो नॉट अ कमेंट ऑन द फिल्म इट्स जस्ट बहुत मैंने हफ्ते लास्ट वीक 5 मूवीज थिएटर में देखी
अबे हाँ
I'm
यार
done with
बहुत
मैंने भी 3 देखी यार। डैम। मेरे को
Go
मितुल
on.
की वजह से आदत तो हो गई है, हर हफ्ते मूवी देखने का मन तो करता है, मितुल की वजह से आदत हो गई है।
Nice.
तो हाँ
ये
मतलब we went together, हमारा पूरा प्लान था कि ओपेनहाइमर सुबह देख के 4-5 घंटे बाद बारबी देखना है। तो ओपेनहाइमर के
Barbenheimer.
बाद ऐसा वॉइड क्रिएट हो गया था ना हम सबके अंदर कि वी नीडेड दैट बारबी वाला वो पैलेट क्लेंजर, एंड आई टॉक्ड अबाउट दिस विद ऑल ऑफ यू। तो वही था कि यार आई वाज रियली एक्साइटेड कि यार अभी ये वाला इंटेंस एक्सपीरियंस हो चुका है, अभी एक फन एक्सपीरियंस लेते हैं। और वो जो मैंने पॉपकॉर्न का टब लिया था ना, दैट इज वन ऑफ द बेस्ट पॉपकॉर्न ईटिंग एक्सपीरियंसेस आई हैव हैड इन अ लॉन्ग टाइम। क्योंकि मैं एक पॉपकॉर्न, और अच्छा पॉपकॉर्न था यार, बहुत सॉल्ट अच्छा।
हम बारबी डिस्कस करना है पॉपकॉर्न
PVR if
यार
you're listening,
अपना
please
पॉपकॉर्न
नहीं,
बस
पीवीआर नहीं था, अपना सिनेपोलिस था ना शायद।
हाँ
हाँ
सिनेपोलिस
please sponsor one popcorn every week,
बहुत
please.
अच्छा पॉपकॉर्न था यार। तो यार मैं फर्स्ट हाफ तक, और
इतना एक सेकंड सॉरी इतना अच्छा था कि आमिर नेम्ड आवर पॉडकास्ट टू समथिंग
पॉपकॉर्न
मतलब कौन
अगर if we don't decide on this name, please cut it down.
बट हाँ यार आई वाज हैविंग अ रियली गुड टाइम। फर्स्ट हाफ तो बहुत अच्छा था, मतलब आई हैड अ फन टाइम। जो मैंने एक्सपेक्ट किया था वही हो रहा था सब कि
ऐसा क्या एक्सपेक्ट करके गया था यार कि वही हो रहा था?
अरे नहीं मतलब इट वाज अ वेरी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड स्टोरी। हर 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 दूसरे हॉलीवुड हॉलीवुड मूवी जैसे ही था, एंड द स्टोरी वाज रियली सिंपल, एंड वी हैड a good performance by Margot Robbie, and everyone did a really good job until the second half. मतलब second half was अब मेरे को थोड़ा सा cut down हो सकता था, थोड़ा कम हो सकता था. They went really preachy in the end. They had too many topics to cover in one single movie, and
True.
somewhere it felt a bit unnecessary. मतलब बारहवीं का movie तुम्हें मिल गया and you just had a lot of topics to discuss. You just put in a lot of topics that you wanted to show. It could have they could have just used one or two topics and you know fleshed out those topics instead of putting everything in one movie. But acha movie tha, good experience. But again, I need to watch it a second time to form a really good opinion. So, बस ऐसे good palate cleanser.
Fair enough. So for me, as Aamir said, really fun watch. पहले तो देख मैं थोड़ा सा I wouldn't say colored opinion लेके गया था, but I listened to Oppenheimer का मैं पूरा soundtrack सुन के गया था because US में एक दिन पहले release हो गया था, so the soundtrack was available a day before. मैं पूरा सुन लिया था 2 बार before I go because that doesn't give you much of a context. But then for Barbie, उनका soundtrack was filled with a lot of pop artists making songs more than soundtrack. Soundtrack barely there were any. All of them were songs. तो मैंने Barbie वाला गाना सुना था which Billie Eilish wrote, and that song picks up the core of the film perfectly.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, it comes off in the climax, I think, where she is in that meta world with the creator of Barbie, and it plays in the background, and it picks up the core of the film perfectly. But listening to that tonally, I felt that the movie is going to be very emotional and heavy. We went there, and it started with a bang, and jokes and wo satire, itna beautifully, and they were talking about very heavy things. Thematically, it was very bold and very strong, and I love it for it. And they were talking about actually very heavy things that needs to be discussed by the people, but they do it in a very satirical and funny way, and I really love it. And one thing, again, everyone has a different opinion on it, but like the thing with movies that talk about societal issues, right? It's like there is a very, I wouldn't say fine line, but it's difficult to differentiate between when you are trying to address a topic and when you're trying to preach something. There is a which comes to a very personal thing. Again, I'm not trying to point fingers or anything. I'm not trying to do that, but it comes to a very personal thing where you address something and you say कि तुम ऐसा करो, you should do this, or this is there. And for this movie, it in a very funny, comical way, it addresses a lot of things, a lot of societal things in a very funny way without telling you कि तुम ऐसा करो, तुम ऐसा करो. At least it wasn't that strong when it comes to being preachy. Again, everyone has a different thought on it. For me, the movie was not exactly preachy, and they took it as a joke. They triggered a conversation and they left, and love it for it. And yeah, second half में थोड़ा सा it goes down and stuff. The parallels that it has with Wizard of Oz, oh my god! But almost similar, I think, structure, if I'm not wrong. But yeah.
क्या similar क्या?
Wizard of Oz. It is similar to it in the structure, like how one character goes to a meta world and all that. So, it is similar, I think, in that sense. But uske alawa, I really loved it. It was funny, it was hilarious, it was very strong and bold. Thematically, बहुत बढ़िया था. And yeah, deeper we can obviously go more than this, but on the surface, if you were asking me, and obviously Oppenheimer के बाद needed that lift in the mood. And the theater was entirely cheerful. It was fun watching it because of it.
Screening में गया था.
Sorry.
अच्छे screening पे गया था.
Exactly, अच्छे screening पे गए थे. Part of the experience was just seeing people so excited. Slow dress up होके आ रहे हैं.
And
people are like.
And the most color of pink I've seen.
Oh my god! Yes, everyone was in pink. After a point, I regret कर रहा था कि मैं black hoodie पहन के क्यों आया. Everyone was in pink, and it was so fun to like just see that spirit. Marketing wise, Barbie did like one of the most brilliant things. Like fuck, I was impressed. मतलब to a different level. it was part of the experience to just go and watch it in the theater was the people around us, और वो अलग ही मजा आ गया था. On a side note, there were a few like very amazing jokes, and मितुल इतने जोर से हंसा था पूरे थिएटर में सुनाई दे रहा था.
क्या 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 तेरा वॉइस
मितुल 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 इतने जोर से हंसा था कि पूरे थिएटर में सुनाई दिया था वो. It was so funny and I'm like bro शांत.
I remember the joke as well. जब है ना कोई बारबी कुछ बोलती है तो सब बारबी बारबी कुछ बोल रही है एंड सब कैन कैन बोल रहे हैं एंड वो एलन का कैरेक्टर मैं भी हूँ. पता नहीं it wasn't that funny मैं जैसे बोल रहा हूँ but it was funny. मतलब
I don't
I love
know.
Michael Cera. छोड़ो वो अलग बात.
Sorry.
अब Michael Cera वो अलग बात है but anyways go.
I might be picking up on it wrong, but Alan was the doll, right? The character.
Doll?
तूने जो character बोला था, Alan,
हाँ
right?
एलन
हाँ. Was Alan supposed to be that cancelled gay doll that Barbie made?
नहीं. Could be.
I thought it was क्योंकि उन लोगों ने एक gay doll भी बनाया था to because it was being the social thing, and then they cancelled it because it did not work out. Same like that pregnant Barbie, and same like the Barbie with the breast implosion. It was just messed up to so many
It was
levels.
mentioned in the film, I forgot, but could be, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it was mentioned in the film, but I think that was supposed to be something that we read between the lines. I don't know. Let me check on it. Oh yeah, he is gay, but उसका origin story थोड़ा complicated है. It is a mock at the dolls that Mattel made. And the entire movie is a huge mock at the company.
हाँ यार
They co-produced it as well. So.
हाँ
नहीं पर अच्छा है ना they are.
Is this a marketing stunt?
No, sorry मैं अपना भी बोल रहा हूँ. I feel the film worked for me really well was because of the fact it never takes itself serious.
Yeah.
And satire को it was the definition of satire. मतलब कि bring out the societal issues in a subtle non-subtle way वो debatable है but bring out the issues but never never dwelling into it very serious in a sense कि हम लोग propagate कर रहे हैं कुछ although it did happen because of a few other narrative beats. चलो मैं
It was supposed to.
If we divide the movie into two parts, form and content, so content-wise, it was a very simple story. Good characters, good simple plot beats. But form, they played with it. They went full meta with it. It was a great satire. And having said that, I have a few problems with the film as well. ये जो exposition वाला part है, for example, there was too much exposition in terms of जो human का character है, America Ferrera is the name. When she starts ranting, I personally was very disconnected from it because I don't see her struggle. She's just using her words to convey whatever she's conveying. Whereas अगर आप बार्बी को देखो, we've seen Barbie throughout the film and we've seen her struggle. And हमको we'll any day empathize with her more than her struggle, even if it's less. Then in a human just complaining or exposition के through आप कुछ conflict arise कर रहे हो या conflict convey कर रहे हो. तो point में I feel कि at parts Vighu said a brilliant line कि there's a line between being preachy and making people aware. And वो line not a lot of films have tried have वो लाइन को एकदम बैलेंस करके क्रॉस करते हैं. आई रिमेम्बर वन फिल्म जो मुझे लगता है डिड इट वेरी वेल वाज जोजो रैबिट. इट नेवर डायरेक्टली it did, although Nazi had they took the liberty to go all out, but it still never became preachy. It was through the characters, through the conflict. Having said that, one thing I feel मेरा विगू से ये बात भी हुआ था कि the greatest attribute of this film was it doesn't take a side. अपने matriarchal society वो end में propagate नहीं कर. They are not saying patriarchal society को खत्म करो. It's coexisting, everyone coexisting and the balance. Thanos's words. मतलब कि
Perfectly
there is
balanced, like all
a
things should be.
yeah, and that is how I see at any look at any problem. Yeah, if there are two extremes, those extremes never work. It is
Yeah,
finding the right balance and finding a cooperation, which the film tried to propagate. At the end,
exactly.
during the film, during the journey, I felt a few things which were directly targeting the patriarchy, which is fair enough. At the same time,
Yeah.
the way it was done, I had problems with it. कि जब वो बारबी वर्ल्ड से बाहर निकलती है वहां पे it takes a different turn in terms of वहां पे पेट्रियार्की दिखता है and it was not subtle about it, but when they go back and she rants, that is when कि यार exposition मत दो, आप you are losing. And एक और चीज, one thing, एक चीज I guess बहुत कम लोग mentioned, Will Ferrell and uska pura arc. I feel that there could have been a distinction
हाँ हाँ
because metal के जो भी it was part of the Barbie world ऐसा लगा, because when they came out of the Barbie world, Ken and Barbie,
Mm.
तब we could see कि there's a contrast in the worlds.
Yeah.
When she stepped into the metal का office, it became again it is a version
Totally.
of
हाँ.
huh?
It
It is
became
a
very
version of Barbie.
हाँ हाँ हाँ.
Yeah, because the characters are not are क्या बोलता they are not behaving like mature adults.
Yeah.
Very
So
caricaturish.
very caricaturish.
Yeah.
That could be मतलब, again, these are nitpicks. Overall, I guess all three of us enjoyed.
Oh
All three
yeah,
of us
absolutely.
enjoyed the film, and एक दो और ना एक दो और चीजें I had written. Now go on. Aamir, the last thing I said. Uh, do you think कि जो caricaturish
हाँ
form,
मुझे भी वो एक nitpick था कि
नहीं
मतलब
नहीं वो नहीं, even in the Barbie world, do you think कि वो it took it too far, or you just got the right amount?
no, in the Barbie world it made sense. This thing
It
was कि
did.
वो Will Ferrell वाला पूरा वो लोग का team है and those characters were really caricaturish. So I didn't really buy into it and they took it too far. वो लोग का
Right.
पूरा एंगल बहुत ज्यादा goofy and कुछ बहुत ज्यादा funny बनने गए, which didn't really make any sense till the end. But
Although, if you look at Will Ferrell and his humor, it's very physical form.
Yeah.
If you take him as a person, I guess if he was given free range on the character, it could have been the result of that कि उसको दे दिया छूट कि आप अपने
हाँ हो
तरीके से.
सकता है.
That could be a reason, because Will Ferrell is a very good actor. मतलब very huge name in physical comedy, etc. etc.
Yeah.
etc. So that could be a reason. But at the same time, I love Will Ferrell. So there is a bias as well कि जो कर रहा है करो.
Fair enough.
But overall, like Vighu said, he was expecting a more emotional. Same thing happened with me. The Billie Eilish song that you're talking about, I heard it and the trailer as well. The
It
trailer,
has.
the end of the trailer makes it seem like it will be a Truman Show like film.
Ah,
And I
Yeah.
was expecting something like that, but it derailed somewhere down the line. The second half made derailed the whole, Kendom and वो सब में इतना वो लोग they invested so much time in all of that. I figured that they won't go there. But even though they went there by bringing the Barbie ka creator and everything, which they left some impact till then, but it was very it took itself too it didn't take itself too seriously, and then it made itself very funny. They thought they were
Yeah.
making something very funny. Huh?
But
one
I
thing.
think. Yeah. Yeah.
हाँ,
Please.
बोलो.
Please, please.
I think it again. I also expected the same thing. PK, Truman Show, someone not in their usual
Huh.
space, a character thrown in a world that they don't know. I expected that, which was the conflict in the beginning until they went back, right? So that is why I'd say it could be an opportunity missed, because अपने it could have been a bigger social commentary on the people on the people of our world, the real world. And मेरे लिए पता नहीं, I have a very easy, simple trope in my mind, writing trope, कि character goes to a place which they are not familiar, familiarity जहाँ पे नहीं है, and they change the place. They find the uh, vices of people, or they find the problems with the world, and they look from a very innocent eyes. मतलब,
Yeah.
because they have never PK.
Every other Rajkumar Irani movie.
Makes sense mostly. हाँ, तो हाँ, every other Rajkumar Hiranand except Sanju. Yeah.
Except Sanjay.
Except.
So this could have been a big opportunity to address patriarchy, matriarchy, or whatever they wanted.
But you know what? Like, I thought that it would be very sad and emotional. You know, yeah, it could be emotionally heavy. But at the same time, once I watched the film halfway into it, like even during the interval, I realized that why it shouldn't be sad, because the way they're taking themselves so lightly, it's like, you know, there's a spectrum here. One side of it is being very serious, and if they're trying to be in the middle and, like, you know, not take them seriously, then suddenly going very emotional with it defies the whole purpose of the satire for me.
I disagree.
Why?
क्योंकि two things. First is, मैं तुम दोनों को ये बोल चुका हूँ बहुत बार, कि very big writing principle that I have, कि disarm your audience with tragedy and punch them in. Disarm your audience with humor and punch them in the gut with tragedy. So and that is what maybe मेरे mind में एक ही movie चल रही है. This was said by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I guess. But even if you take Jojo Rabbit, it made me cry. It made me cry in different ways. But it also was a satire. It was also damn funny. So I guess it is possible. It's just, and to be honest, I've heard people who tried watching Barbie as well. It did not elicit that kind of a response in me personally, but it's a very subjective thing. जो हम तीनों को नहीं हो. We went to have fun. We did have fun. I think if they again, don't see them attempting to make you emotional. मेरे को वो लगा कि बार्बी का character arc था, how it pays off as well. It is meant to be heartwarming, yes, but it's not meant to be emotional and in a way that it is not that goal.
They did not intend it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So,
exactly why I said कि वो मेरे लिए that is, I think, how I'm making sense of it. For me, it defies the whole purpose of the satire. It's like if they're trying to be lighthearted with the heavy stuff, then they're also trying to be lighthearted with the emotional stuff. It's like, you know, bringing everything to a middle. And I don't know if that was the best move, but I think that is how I'm interpreting it to be.
But that is why, that is why मेरे लिए personally, it separates it from being a good movie to a great movie. If it had the emotional core, it did try, but it did not make me feel in a way that I cry for Barbie's character or any scenario.
Fair.
So वो मेरे लिए there's a distinction, personally.
Fair. But it was a very bold move to make this movie, I would say. So even that way, it could be a safety protocol, maybe.
Bold move to make the movie is controversial. Barbie is a huge IP. Hello, उनको बनाना तो था, but in a way that they made it.
See, Barbie could have been the very next. ये क्या बोलते हैं, मतलब how every Disney remake is. It could have been that. But they did use the IP and the platform.
I know.
It was a bold move.
And I applaud Greta Gerwig for it. The day she got the job, she knew and Noah Baumbach, it's her husband. He was her husband. I'm not sure.
Partners, but they are partners now.
Still partners? I'm not sure. They were married, I guess. Who knows? Whatever. They wrote it together. But my point being, she knew from the first day itself what people are expecting. Turn it around, subvert their expectations, and वो जो वो लोग expect कर रहे हैं उनको देना ही नहीं. And that is why Barbie is not a movie that you step into the theater imagining कि ऐसा हो. It completely defies your expectations.
I love it for that.
And which is why I personally love it. Even the trailer of the film, first trailer, and the film starts. It starts. कौन सा मूवी का starting?
Space Odyssey को review.
Yeah. Space Odyssey.
It pays homages to so many films.
So many. Even Zack Snyder's Justice League.
The meta references. Godfather, Zack Snyder. और कौन था? भाई, the best scene of the film for me was when the movie stops in between and it addresses wrong casting choice of Margot. Again.
Like just put a director note to not cast Margot Robbie. अरे okay.
I mean, but talking about the technical prowess, technically it was flawless. I feel even Oppenheimer and this technically this movie couldn't have been better. Writing wise, both the film had things which stops them from becoming perfect movies. Both of them.
ठीक है, that is okay. But at the same time, it like that doesn't mean that they weren't good films. Like
they were good. Again,
like most honestly, fun day I've had.
This is the 4th highest box office opening ever weekend opening ever
since Endgame.
Fourth highest ever, highest since Endgame.
For which film?
Then I might have knew.
नहीं जो ये weekend है,
the weekend.
4th highest ever in the history of cinema, and it's the weekend.
Especially considering the actor and writer strike.
नहीं वो again. Debatable. But again, it's a different demographic.
Yeah.
Very small population could be a
not a very small. I'm speaking more in terms of what is going on with the industry.
But people won't go. Even see, 2 movie बना रहे. I know we are facing a similar problem. But 2 movie बनाई है, and me as a filmmaker also wanted to succeed. Or if you made a good film, I also go watch. Irrespective of studio क्या कर रहा है जो भी and when things work out they have to work for the studio as well, or let's see, again very controversial.
I'm just coming from a place ki like how the industry is literally
huge
upside down right now. So considering that this is the biggest box office opening and the whole thing, it's a good thing. It's bringing people to the cinemas. It's a good thing.
And अपना ये बात भी हुआ था कि 1960s में लास्ट दोनों स्ट्राइक पे गए थे राइटर्स एंड दैट वाज अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम जहाँ पे every big movie was bombing, and that led to the rise of new big filmmakers, independent voices, Spielberg, Scorsese, etc.
Hopefully that happens again. Achha, one more thing. You know how you mentioned it ki like when talking about the things like patriarchy and stuff, they were directly mocking at it. I don't know if it is controversial, but it is not the most simplest thing to say, I would say. You can't really point a finger at something without showing the extreme version of what it is, because it makes easy for audience to understand it. So even though they were directly mocking it, even though they were very strongly showing it, people are doing this, even the whole mock at mansplaining, that was the funniest bit I've seen, dude. ऐसा बस में के गिटार बजा रहे हैं, एक उठ के जा रही है तो सब लाइन से jealous हो रहे हैं in a domino effect. It was funny as hell. And I am a guy myself, I know. I am a musician myself. I know what it is to play a guitar and see people look at you. I know that attention. I get that. And it was funny as hell for me. And I love it because that is the simplest way to explain something to people, I would say. Again, I might be wrong, but that is what I feel. Because when you show someone an extreme version of something and then you pull it back, it becomes easier for every other person to get it. Because, like, problematic statement, but extreme opinions are easy to get.
But
it doesn't apply everywhere, shouldn't apply everywhere.
नहीं मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ कि I am looking it from a filmmaker's point of view. The filmmaker's point of view, you want it to be as layered and complex. As a writer's point, from a writer's point of view, for example, you don't want. See, मैं ये मानता हूँ नोलन की भी movies अपने को क्यों पसंद है, because he makes us work hard for it. And once we worked hard and then he gives us the payoff, हमको जब समझ आता है वो ज़्यादा rewarding rather than giving us something simply on a plate. Which again, that is why I'm saying it does have a propaganda. This film, instead of you chasing it just gives you on a plate कि ये कहना चाहते हैं हम लोग. So that is where the line is.
Okay, I did not think of it in that way. Interesting.
But again, I'm not. It's a very. To be honest, ना, it is. देखा जाए, it is also very important film, because not every film targets matriarchy in a scale this big. uh, Targets patriarchy, not matriarchy. But so very important film. Uh, Again, किसको जा रहा है बहुत important है. किसको जा रहा है and how it's perceived by the audiences. Uh, hmm.
True.
You इसका भी मतलब there's a separate podcast जो शायद हम लोगों ने किया है नहीं किया. There's a
It
separate.
becomes more of a social conversation after a while, which the movie intends to, like, when people
Yeah.
like us are sitting and having this conversation about the film, it needs to go that way. It needs to happen. So that's completely good, I would say.
And
Not okay, good.
one thing that makes it a bit more important is Oppenheimer में thematically जो कहना चाह रहा है, हाँ, कि things be will lead to their own downfall, right? वो पर बहुत vague है, vague in the sense we can't directly kill the world right now, but Barbie जो propagate कर रहा है, we can implement and
Now hold up.
नहीं पर मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ ना, बारबी इट इज these are the small things, how could we change the society in smallish ways, whereas Oppenheimer is a very broad and large scale or scope की conversation create कर as a society.
True that. I don't want to dive into the politics and all of that shit, but yeah, but I agree to this. Barbie, the things that it speaks about, it is something a very small change in mindset and belief that I'm not saying that it will revolutionize the whole world and everything, but these are necessary things that people need to think about.
Yeah. Although having said that, I agree with whatever you said, whatever I said, but I feel I see every film as a piece of fiction. I take elements from it that I want to apply it in my personal life, and I hope people do as well. But it's not a factual piece of work. It's not. It is. मतलब it's pretty self-explanatory. Everyone knows it. But again, I see it as a movie. I loved the movie. I enjoyed it. I took elements from it, which we discussed. We will discuss maybe in the future as well. That's it. Barbie.
How much would you rate it? मेरे को बता, I'm curious.
मैं rate नहीं करता है, मतलब not sounding very pretentious, not wanting to sound pretentious, but
I don't rate films. Oh my god.
नहीं, but really rate यार.
ठीक है, I understand. I was just curious. We have done this a couple of times.
करते हैं यार, मतलब again यार very subjective है. मतलब ऐसा नंबर आता है कि once you watch the film, number mind में pops up. But what's the criteria? I don't know. Even I don't.
Exactly. Same. Which is why I don't like doing it. But I was just curious, your views. Aamir, do you have a rating? I personally don't have. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I'm just curious of what you guys feel.
So I guess 6 or 7
out of 10.
Yeah.
Out of 100.
नहीं से 5 stars में से गिन रहा था. Basic 7 चला गया.
Fair enough. Acha, I just want to add a quick note ki, like, I hope because we expressed a lot of views and personal opinions on a lot of things, so I hope we did not offend anyone in any sense. We did not mean to. Intention to nahi tha, but just adding it as a side note before.
क्या पता.
Intention to nahi tha, but just adding it because
so that was it, guys. Had a lot of fun talking about the films. We actually enjoyed, to be honest, and the films that did not disappoint and had things worth talking about. So I hope you guys enjoyed us talking, and you enjoyed listening to us. And that's it. Hope we are planning to make videos every week, and we'd love your support. So
अभी तक कुछ ऐसे decide नहीं किया what support, but just you coming and listening to this is everything. So
agreed.
We are having fun having these conversations, so I hope you all have fun listening to this.
Hope you guys enjoyed it, and tune in next week for another episode, and we'll see you right here.